Good evening, everyone. This is the Finance Committee meeting. Today is Tuesday, June 17th, 2025. It is 6:32. I'd like to call the meeting to order with a Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America
and to
the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On March 28th, under Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20, this meeting is being recorded. On March 28th, 2025, Governor Healey signed into law a bill which extends the temporary provisions pertaining to open meeting law to June 30th, 2027. Specifically, this further extension allows for public bodies to continue holding meetings remotely without a quorum of the body physically present at the meeting location, and to provide adequate alternative access for remote meetings. This language does not make any substantial changes to the open meeting law other than extending the expiration date of the temporary provisions regarding remote meetings from March 31st, 2025 to June 30th, 2027. All right, well, welcome everyone. Nice to see everyone. It feels like it's been months, but it's only been 1 month. So our first item that we have on the agenda tonight is to discuss and take action for year-end transfers. So just to, we had a number of transfers that were on the town warrant, and sometimes after the warrant gets prepared and town meeting is done, some additional transfers come up. And both the Finance Committee and the Select Board need to approve the year-end transfers. And so we're here tonight to discuss those. So there were 5 of the transfers were discussed last night at the Select Board, and they approved them all. And tonight is for us to discuss them and approve if we do. And then there was one more that came late today, so that was not on the agenda, but we can certainly talk about that tonight if we want to do that. So we have Deputy Rebello here. Hi, how are you? Thank you for coming.
Good, thank you. Nice to see everyone today.
Thank you. So we will, I'm just trying to find give me a second. I'm trying to find the warrant articles. Okay, there we go. So we have, I think, 3 that are for the police department. So we'll start with the first one, and I'll read that off, and then maybe you can help us understand what that is.
Sure.
It is a transfer for the amount of $15,955. It's going from the police department professional services to the police department's equipment department. And it says, well, I can certainly let you read that if you want to describe what this is for.
Sure. So in FY25, the police department had a surplus due to personnel services. We had 6 full-time officer positions that weren't filled. So that left us with a surplus of funding. Last year, through your good graces, we were able to put into all of our patrol units mobile data terminals that allow our officers to utilize those on car stops and investigations, things of that nature. What we weren't able to do last year was to get our detectives up to speed with the electronic devices that our patrol officers had. So this brings everybody now up to speed. The example that the chief gave last night at the Select Board meeting was that we had a Semlec SWAT team call out not too long ago on Robert Street. The detective that was in charge of that couldn't stay on scene because they didn't have the electronics that were necessary. They had to come back here to the station and do their work. So they were missing out on key information that they needed for their search warrants. And rather than being there, which it would have been ideal if they didn't have the MDT to do that. So this is just funding that would allow all of our detectives to stay out in the field and do what they need to do in the field and not have to come back and forth to complete whatever task they have to do.
All right, thank you. Does anyone have any questions, or I'll go through? We'll go through. Do you want to go which one first?
Just Karen, I just have a quick question for the deputy, and I'll state up front, I'm for this, so this is not a negative. But in the prior year, when you were budgeting, did you know that there were not going to be 6 positions filled? You know, maybe 1 or 2, but 6 positions is pretty, pretty aggressive. And so I just wanted, I just want to get a feel for that because, you know, it is important. Yeah, I mean, you budget on your best information, but maybe it was a little too aggressive for the police department to, fully fund 6 positions.
Right. So the budget that the chief and I were working off of was previous administration had submitted that budget. This budget that's coming up this year is the first budget that we've put together.
Okay.
We did lose some people due to retirement and positions that just weren't filled for one reason or another. But we've decided that that's the route that we want to go. We're currently at 30. We're assigned to 31. We're looking to fill that position. We've got 2 people going to the academy in August, and then we've got a retirement coming up in March. So with the transition, it will end up we'll be at full complement sometime in the middle of next year. By July next year, it'll be at full complement. But then again, we have more retirements coming up in August of next year. So we're constantly chasing our tail. We're trying to keep up with full staff because of the length of the academy and then the length of field training as well.
Okay, fair enough. I just wanted to ask the question. This is not your budget. You're moving it forward. There's excess funds. The town meeting approved your overall budget. This is excess, and this is to upgrade these, pardon me, 3 different things are set to upgrade your equipment, handguns, whatever it might be, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
That's great news. I mean, I don't think, we have to be a full complement. There's a lot of departments, I think, around the area that are not anywhere close. I think that's really good news.
A lot of departments are really struggling, especially the bigger cities, and they're leaving in droves to go to smaller towns. And we've definitely benefited tremendously by having some of the officers transfer in, lateral transfer in. So it saves us on training, and we get a lot of expertise with that. And it's really been a benefit to the town.
Yeah, a lot of towns are doing the lateral moves now, which is great.
Correct.
Good job.
Yep.
Thanks.
Sure, no problem.
Unless you're the town that they're laterally moving out of, right?
I make a motion to approve. Do you want a motion, Karen?
No, we can do that now. That's fine.
Okay. I'd make a motion that we approve the transfer.
I'll second.
Great,
Karen,
thank you.
you had his hand up though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
have a question.
Thank you.
just wanted to point out, I think, one of the things that helped, and Dr. Cabello will confirm this for us, they modified the residential requirement last year.
Correct.
It used to be solely Westport.
Right.
And I was part of the Public Safety Committee, as you may know. We were very much in favor of that because of the elements of the police and part of the community and that sort of thing. But the recruiting was a problem. Now, the modification was, I believe, 20 miles. And that really has been a 10 strike because that's close enough. So it really doesn't make all that much difference that I was talking about, but it certainly is increased the pool. The deputy will confirm the new people, I think, are pretty much coming from Westport. So even though the residency requirement has been relaxed and increases the pool, I don't think it's really had any adverse effects.
No, to the best of my knowledge, I believe off the cuff, I think there's only 2 people that are outside of Westport. One's in Fall River, and then one's in Freetown.
Okay.
Within 20.
Before we go, I wanted to, I guess I'm a little rusty. I was remiss to, do a roll call. I need to identify all the members that are here. So, myself, Karen Rouse is here. Hugh Morton is here. Al Lees, Gary Carrero, Duncan Law, Cindy Brown, Zach LeBrew joined us at 6:37, and Christopher Thrasher is also here. So we're all present. So just want to let everyone know they're here. And Christopher, you've got your hand up, so go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I just had one quick question. So is this motion for items A, B, and C? All 3 of the police department transfers are going to the same?
This motion is just for this article that we had spoken of. That would
For
be
A,
So
for item A,
just for item A. That's my question. It's just there's 3 police transfers listed. I just want to clarify if we're dealing with.
Correct. We've only discussed the first one, the 15,955 from salaries to expenses.
Okay, thank you.
I did have a question as well.
Go ahead, Cindy.
Also, I will preface this also by saying I'm very much in favor of this as well for your ability to fully equip your staff. Were any of these items brought up before CIPC? Are you aware? I know, Deputy, you were not necessarily I know it was the chief that went before CIPC, but perhaps you attended as well. Were any of the items that are listed here, had they gone before the Capital Improvement Committee prior to this? Do you know?
No, and it was my understanding through him that they weren't, only because they didn't meet the $50,000 threshold. I know that there is going to be one that is over that, but it's kind of a combination of items as well as ammunition. So it wasn't a one-shot deal, and he didn't feel it appropriate to bring it to the CIPC.
Okay, great.
No.
Thank you.
No pun intended on the one-shot deal, right?
Yeah, perfect, yeah.
Oh, Al, you're still really sharp at 7:00.
That's,
in the year.
there we go.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. So any other comments on this article? We can go ahead and do a roll call too. All right, I will do a roll call. So Al.
Al Lee's aye.
Hugh Morton,
Hugh Morton, aye.
Gary,
Yes.
Duncan,
Duncan Law, aye.
Cindy,
Cindy Brown, aye.
Zach,
Zach LaBrue, aye.
Christopher,
You're on mute, Christopher. You must have stepped away. Oh, there you are.
Frozen computer there for a second.
Oh, okay.
He's muted.
Okay.
all right, Christopher Foster, aye, and Karen Rouse, aye. Thank you. All right, so the second transfer is 56,107.14, and that's going from the police department professional to the police department ammunition guns. I'll let you, someone's got some
What do
noise.
you got, a background noise?
Yeah, a TV, or is there a TV or something?
All right, that's better.
All right.
Great, thank you. Deputy, I'll let you explain this one.
Sure. So with this, it's just an upgrade of our weapon platform. It's becoming the industry standard. Massachusetts State Police have transitioned to this already. Other local agencies have transitioned to a different firearm. MPTC, the Massachusetts Police Training Committee, they are now incorporating into their curriculum, into what our new recruits are getting, this weapon platform. So everybody's transitioning to this with the red dot optic on it. So this is just bringing us, it's eventually at some point in time going to be industry standard. And because we have the funding available, we're looking to get ahead of the game here and get everybody up to speed with what's going to be coming down the pike very soon.
All right, thank you. And Cindy, you've got your hand up. Is that from last time or this time?
Sorry, forgot to put it down. Sorry.
Okay. Any questions on that for anybody? All right, so if no questions, if entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Thank you. Any other further discussion on this item? Nope. Okay, I will do a roll call. Hugh,
Hugh Morton, aye.
Al,
Al Lee, pardon me, Al Lee's aye.
Gary,
Yes.
Duncan,
Got a background noise. I don't know.
Duncan Law, aye.
thank you. Cindy,
Cindy Brown, aye.
Zach,
Zach LaBrue, aye.
Christopher.
Christopher Thrasher, aye.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Christopher Thrasher,
Aye.
aye.
Thank you. And Karen Rouse, aye. Thank you. All right, so the third transfer is from the police department. It's for 13,283.15. And it is from the police department professional to police department replace equipment. Deputy, I'll let you do a brief explanation on that as well.
Sure. So along with the firearms, we need holsters for those firearms to reside in while we're carrying them around. Myself and 3 other individuals went up to New Hampshire, up to Sig Sauer to fire these firearms. And then while talking to the individual up there, we used to work with one company for our holsters. It seemed kind of, the quality wasn't there. They broke a lot. A lot of agencies are having difficulty with it. So we were looking at other agencies to go with, or other organizations to go with for their holsters. And this organization is the organization we picked it's a more robust holster. It'll hold up. It's a lot more sturdy. But this is what that transfer is for, just for the holsters for the firearms.
Great, thank you. Any questions for the deputy? Someone's got.
No,
Zach,
I just have I just have a brief comment. In speaking with the chief a few months ago, one of the things that I believe you're trying to do, deputy, is to unilaterally have all the firearms in all of the vehicles and with all of the officers to have the same stuff. I mean, I guess that's the only way to put it right now, or at least in the not too distant past. There was a variety of different firearms in a variety of different vehicles on a variety of different, and there was no uniformity. There was, and so this is a way of just upgrading it, not only to state police standards, but just in general, so that when an officer comes from the south end to pick a place to the north end, they know that if they need to pick up something, they're dealing with the same firearm or holster or whatever it might be. Is that a fair and accurate statement?
That is, sir. Yep. It was primarily with our rifles before. There was some people that had their own rifles and things of that nature. And you need somebody with our training, we train to a certain standard, and that standard is met. We need everything standardized, like you said, so that way if something unfortunate does happen, we're able to switch equipment easily and quickly and still get the job done and not have somebody trying to figure out how to use a piece of equipment when the time is necessary to use it. So, yeah,
Okay.
that's exactly what's going on.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you.
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you. Go ahead, Zach, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, just out of curiosity, for the holsters, and I guess this question's a little bit late, but also for the previous firearms, how long was the previous models used, and kind of how long do you expect this replacement to last?
We estimated that I was here when the last firearm switch happened. It was about 8 years ago. We're looking for these to hopefully last a little bit longer than that. So that we don't have to go through this again. The longer the better, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's a long time. Just curious. Thanks.
Sure, absolutely.
Go ahead, Cindy.
One other question. Is there a trade-in allowance on these? Like, what happens to the firearms that you currently have?
Sure. I'm glad you brought that up. So this price that you're seeing, although it is quite expensive, our old firearms are being sold back to the company. So that defers the cost of buying the new firearms. It does cut it down substantially. So those will be going back, and they'll in essence be buying them from us, but for a credit for the new firearm. Yes.
Is it like 10%, 20%? I mean, how much of a credit do you get towards it?
I can do the math real quick. I'm trying to figure it out.
No. I was just curious as to how much they're worth, how much the residual value is to be put towards the.
It's in the tens of thousands of dollars range.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure the exact number.
Okay.
I could get it for you if you'd like, but it's going to take me a little bit.
That's fine. Thank you.
Okay.
Interesting.
Thank you. Any other questions for the deputy?
Karen, I have one question. I just can't find the hand button. Is this built into the normal operating budget for the police, or is this above and beyond what we needed for equipment in this line item? I just like going forward, is that built in?
This isn't normally something we budget in. We don't expect to change out firearms. It's just that with all the changes that are coming up, especially at the MPTC with training requirements, that we thought it beneficial to do this now while funding was available. This is not something that we would normally budget for, and not something that we would normally want to do.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Yep, second.
Thank you. Any other discussion on it? No.
Gotcha,
Okay.
Cindy.
You did.
All right, I go for a roll call. Hugh,
Jim Morton, aye.
Al,
Aye.
Gary,
Yes.
Duncan,
Duncan, aye.
Cindy,
Cindy Brown, aye.
Zach,
Zach LeBrew, aye.
Christopher.
Christopher Thrasher, aye.
Thank you. And Karen Ross, aye. Well, thank you, Deputy. We appreciate your coming to explain these. Thank
Sure.
you very much.
Not a problem.
Yes,
Thank you
thank-
so much. Appreciate the
Thank
support.
you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much. All right, so we will continue on. The fourth item is the library. It's $23,000 even, going from the library's personnel to library repair and maintenance. And the instruction says, due to staffing changes and temporary staffing shortages, the library did not use the entirety of the personnel budget. I believe someone from the library is or was with us. Did I see somebody here?
Yep, Bonnie.
Thank you. Thank you. I thought I saw Bonnie, you're here. So if you could introduce yourself and maybe give us just discuss a little bit with what's going on with this, what you're intending to use this funds for.
We can't hear you. No, we can't hear you, Bonnie. No, you're not on mute, but you have no sound.
My dear hair.
So,
Go like this.
Nope, still no sound, Bonnie.
Yeah, you got a point.
Now it looks like mute, so a mute can be cleared. Is that, Karen, can you clear that?
I cannot. I can only mute someone. I cannot unmute someone.
One way street.
It doesn't show that she's on mute, does it?
Yes, I see the icon.
Oh, okay. I can't see. Yeah, now it says unmute. Try it now, Bonnie. No, now it's showing mute. Yeah.
Well, Bonnie, you have the option to, you can call in. So if that might be easier, you can call in on the phone. If you go right to the town's website, there's the call-in information, and then you can communicate with us that way, if you'd like to do that.
Laura has her hand up.
Go ahead, Laura.
You're on mute, Laura.
Can you hear me now?
yes,
Hi,
yes,
I'm
good.
Laura Bennett. I am the chair of the Board of Trustees at the Westport Free Public Library.
Great.
And Bonnie presented a proposal to the board at our latest meeting. She has presented it in the past, but now she, with the extra funding that she has found in the budget, the unused portion, she had the idea of purchasing study carols that are like separate booths, almost like phone booths that could be set up within the body of the library. And with that,
Mhm.
it's a quiet space available for one person. And she thought with the 23,000 or
Mhm.
I don't have
Yeah,
the
around 23,000, right?
that we could get two of them and put them back to back within the library. So in effect, we're creating two new study rooms without having to build an addition to the library. And we have a lot of requests for study space, which we can't always accommodate. The only quiet room we have is the local history room, and that's used a great deal. So this was a great idea. A number of other libraries in the state are using this. There is a model that she told all of us trustees to go see in New Bedford in some new business center. So we're all in process of going to that, but we did vote to approve the purchase. It seemed like a great idea to increase our services, not blowing the budget because the money is there and approved. So that is what we're using it for.
Thank you for the explanation. Al, you have your hand up.
I do. So a study corral, as I understand it, and when I went to college, was a little cubicle with a little seat, with a little area and a couple of bookshelves where people could stuff their books in. question number one is that I find it hard to believe that each one of those cost $12,000.
Perhaps I used the wrong terminology.
Okay,
It's more like an enclosed soundproof space. I haven't seen it personally. Bonnie described it. But it's
Okay.
more like a soundproof phone booth that I think has a desk. I imagine you could put a desk and a chair in there,
hmm
not like the study carols that I remember from school that were
right,
in it.
the carols, that's a better term,
So
yeah.
it looks like Bonnie is
Yeah.
back. Bonnie, you're still on mute. Could you see if
Okay.
you can unmute yourself and try to speak this time? But you are on mute, so we can't unmute you. No, you're still on mute. Can you see on the bottom of your screen where you can unmute yourself? It's a little microphone.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're still on mute, so sorry. Were you not able to call in on the phone line? Oh, there you go. Okay, she's dialing in now.
So Laura, just to get back briefly until, until hopefully we have a connection. You're not talking about just a simple little desktop with a chair and a corral of some kind, but a soundproof room?
A soundproof,
Not
Booth,
room,
yeah,
but
yes.
booth. Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
All right, so
Mhm.
we'll see if she can get back in. So,
And how many requests? I'm sorry, Cindy,
Go
just,
ahead.
just very, very quickly. How many requests is this a wish or a want or a need?
I would classify it as a need. I have been a library director in Rehoboth for over 22 years.
Mhm.
So I know when Bonnie is asking for something, she doesn't ask for anything frivolous. And we do need a quiet space. We get sometimes many students coming over after school.
Mhm.
Some are just hanging out with their friends, but some are looking for a quiet space to do homework.
Okay.
And we don't have the space and
Okay.
we don't have the quiet.
so Bonnie, is that your number, a 401 number? Okay, so you're also on mute on your phone, so you have to unmute yourself on the phone. So it should be right there on your on your phone. It should be, you should be able to unmute yourself. No. For some reason, you're not being allowed to speak today.
We're trying.
Your voice does not want to be heard today. I have a question for Nicole regarding this item. I see Nicole is back on the line here. Nicole, do they have to have an actual purchase order in hand for these funds to be encumbered for June 30th?
Mhm. Right.
It depends on how much they spend. If it's,
$23,000.
if it's 23,000, yes, they would have to put a purchase order through. But the items have to be purchased in hand or ordered. So like they have to have an order form that says that they ordered it in June. If they don't get the invoice until July. And then once they order, they have to put a purchase order through as well. And the purchase order will roll over the funds. But we do have them fill out a form that says, I bought, X number of dollars from all these different places. If there's a purchase order or not, they put it on the form so that I know what to roll forward into the next fiscal year.
Okay. I bring it up
Doesn't it
only
also have to be
because
procured?
Right. But with 23,000, all we need is 3 quotes, either written or 3 written quotes. anywhere between 10 and 50, they need 3 written quotes.
Oh, it's 23 for
procurement.
all of it. Okay.
Right.
So I guess my question to Laura, I guess to Bonnie through Laura to some degree, if Laura, you had indicated that you and perhaps some of the library trustees were going to visit a location where these are displayed, are you going to be in a position where you can order and have these things, you know, with a competitive pricing within the next 2 weeks?
I honestly don't know. I've been leaving the negotiations to Bonnie.
Okay.
I imagine
So-
she's been making her best efforts, but I don't know what stage it's at as of today.
Right. And Bonnie is so frustrated at this point, I'm sure, because she can hear us and we can't hear her. So, anyway, so Bonnie, that's something you're going to have to keep in mind if this committee moves forward with that. You're going to have to keep that in mind, that you have to make sure you have the right paperwork to the town accountant prior to the end of June. And whether that's a real purchase order or some documentation that, you know, that you've done the competitive process if that's necessary. So I just wanted to bring it up because I know this isn't a common occurrence for the library to do this. So I just want to make sure that you are aware what had to be done prior to June 30th. Okay.
Yeah. And I would just tag on to what Cindy is saying. I don't think anybody is opposed. It's about the process. And once you do the process for this, if you deviate from the process, it has a ripple effect throughout the entire town. So possibly, Karen, and I am not looking for, you know, another meeting before the end of the year, but maybe what we need to do is to get all the ducks in a row and just have a quick and dirty approval or denial of you know, the expense before June 30th. I'm just tossing that out. I don't know whether it's practical or makes sense, but it just seems it's $23,000 on a $55 million budget. All right. So, I mean, we're not talking about, you know, big numbers. It probably makes sense, but it's about the process. That's what I'm concerned about.
Bonnie,
Oh, go ahead, Hugh.
I have to say, I sort of feel the same way as Al. It's not against it, but it's sort of a little bit of pig in the poke at the moment in terms of knowing exactly what's happening, et cetera. And one question I have in the back of my mind, maybe others know better, is what effect is it going to have on the library in terms of other uses, location, et cetera? I'm sure it's not going to be like a couple of telephone booths at the entrance, but it's still a question when you put something in, you take space away from something else. Fine, but I don't think we know anything about that.
Right now, as I understand it, Bonnie plans to remove a desk that was a reference desk that really is not being used to any extent, and putting the booths within that space where the desk was.
Yeah, that's sort of my point. I think that's very helpful. So I'm sort of with Al on this in the sense that there's no reason. I think it has to be done tonight. I'm not against it, but that we do a very brief meeting next week, a week after, when we have actually this information to look at.
Oh, okay. So Bonnie, you're saying there are too many people with their mics open. Is that the feedback you're getting? Okay. So if the rest of us mute ourselves, let's see if that works for you.
No, because we've never had that instance of a problem.
she is messaging us, Karen. And
Oh, okay. I can't really read it. Let's see.
Let me see. I can,
I have all the information for Nicole. There are too many people with their mics open.
okay.
and Google says it's unmuted on her end. So that's frustrating.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's unfortunate, but sometimes that happens.
I don't even see that. I don't even see that message. I don't know where.
Oh, you don't see her messages?
No, I see a message that says there are too many people on the mics open.
Then before that, it says, yes, I do have all that information for Nicole.
Okay.
6 minutes ago, Google says it unmuted me. I'm not
Okay.
sure what is happening.
Okay.
Karen,
So she said that she does
ahead, Gary.
have a
I mean-
purchase order.
Okay.
yeah, I'm inclined to make a motion to vote on this, and here's the reason why. I think that, the library is kind of unique where they get state funding and they have state aid from libraries, so they have to meet that minimum. And if they feel that this is a program that will enhance that, I don't know that we should probably maybe delay that for them. I think that they said that they've looked at other libraries. Maybe we're one of the few libraries that are doing this. I think it's positive. And so I wouldn't want to hinder that for the library. As long as it's not disruptive to other members that are there. I think that's the only concern that I would have.
Mhm.
I totally agree with you, Gary. Totally. We,
Yeah,
we should not be fooling around with this.
All right. So,
Yeah,
so
and so I'll
Gary,
make
you need
a
a
motion I'll make a
Sorry.
motion to approve it.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, great. Any further discussion?
Nope.
All right, great. All right, so I will do a roll call. Hugh,
You, Morton, you're on mute.
Martin, I,
There you go.
Al,
Al Lee's aye.
Gary,
Yes.
Duncan,
Duncan, aye.
Cindy,
Cindy Brown, aye.
Zach,
Zach LeBrew, aye.
Christopher,
Christopher Asher, aye.
that was an aye, and Karen Rouse, aye. Great, thank you. All right. Well, Bonnie, we hope to, next time we
Talk
meet,
to you
you'll
someday.
figure out your technology. Thanks for trying.
Thank you.
Thank you for Laura for jumping in. So thank you for being here.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, so the next transfer is going, it's $13,000. It's going from employee benefits health insurance to the Beach Enterprise Personnel Services. And it says to fund the lifeguard payroll for the remainder of fiscal 25. I believe Sean Leach is here. So this one's a little bit different because each of the previous transfers were within its own department, going from personnel to expenses. So they were within their department. This one is looking to gather some funds outside of their department to use for the department. So Sean, you are here. Can you, I think we may have, some of us may have read the Shorelines article that discussed this, but if not, I'll let you talk about this.
Okay, Sean Leach, I'm the chairman of the beach committee. As you know, we run a different type of operation where our revenue comes in calendar year as opposed to fiscal year, and as do our expenses. We run, typically we open up in June, and we allocate the money the year before, hoping that, we guess right for the next year, essentially. So last year we gave a significant raise because we had to attract lifeguards to the lifeguards, most about a 40% increase in basically the cost of the lifeguards. And then we had a couple of other expenses that kind of took us back a little bit. One was the pipe and plumbing monitoring that went from 8,000 to 12,000. And basically we got to a point where we just ran out of money. And because it was last year's budget, not this year's town meeting, we built it in for next year. So you won't have to see me again next year. But in order to open up, which we did last Saturday, and fully staff until the beginning of the first school year when funds will be available on July 1st, we need this money, and it was suggested or recommended that we take it from the town administrator. I know it's kind of an unusual thing. We do have an enterprise fund that funds our entire operation. But at this point, because of the increase in salaries and whatnot, we just basically ran out of money in order to open up for 2.5 weeks prior to the fiscal year starting on July 1st.
Thanks, Sean. So I have a question first. So from reading the article in the Shorelines, and it sounds like it was last fall's overtime, right? So it was last season.
Correct.
Well, you've known about this budget overage for quite some time, right?
Up to a certain point where we got the contract we were expecting to transfer from basically expenses to personnel. We thought we'd have enough money in the expense left over in the expense items to change it over from expenses to personnel. We didn't. We had to get a new lifeguard chair, which Diamond Regional Vocational built it, but the cost of the materials, aluminum, believe it or not, I'm not sure if it was due to anything other than the cost, was $3,000 to build a lifeguard chair, which is what I thought was fairly expensive, but it is what it is. We needed the chair. And then additionally, there was some training required at the beginning of this year for the lifeguards, which even though it was only 3 hours, it basically ran $1,000. So, pennies make dollars, and it added up, and we saw that we had about $6,000 left total for this year's budget. And we made a decision, either we asked for this transfer or we just wouldn't open up until the week before July 1st. Right now, we did open, we have paid for essentially 4 days. Should this not go through, we're just going to not open up until basically the last week in June.
So
We didn't know about this. I guess the answer to your question is yes, we did know about this come about February when we were going for the budget for next year. And we're trying to figure out where we can get the money from to transfer.
So is there not funds in your enterprise fund that can pay for this?
Yes, there is. And I believe there is, and I think Nicole can verify that. And that's what for next year, obviously, we upped all our amounts for personnel to cover this particular overage. But it's my understanding we had to transfer it from the healthcare. I don't know why we couldn't transfer it from the enterprise fund. I think there is funds available.
Okay, Nicole is here and she has her hand up. So Nicole, maybe you can help answer that question for us.
So the retained earnings that get certified every single year when we certify free cash can only be allocated at town meeting, just like free cash. So the only place we can fund the enterprise fund for this shortfall is from some other department. And that's what we did. We took a small amount of excess money in our health insurance line, and we gave it to the beach so that they could fund these salaries. Because it was not brought to my attention before town meeting, so we couldn't put it on the warrant.
Right. And I think that goes back to my first question, that it sounds like we knew of that it could have been on the town warrant and it could have stayed within the beach enterprise without having to come out, right? I'm just trying to
Yes, we
understand.
could have taken it from retained earnings at
Right.
town meeting, but I didn't discover it, and it wasn't brought to my attention prior to when the warrant was being done.
Yeah.
But again, the warrant was closed back in January, and this wasn't discovered until February. So we could have made some changes, after that, but it just didn't work out that way.
Right. The warrant wasn't closed until April for transfers. So,
Right.
right. No, January. But-
It
Okay.
wasn't,
thank
like
you.
I said, it wasn't brought to my attention to make sure that it was in my transfer numbers. Yeah, so hopefully next year, it'll be better.
It's going to be better for sure. We definitely set it
Karen,
up
can I ask you
that
a
way.
question?
The other thing that I noticed too is there's two other things that caused this. Was one is the stipends that weren't budgeted for, that they get at the end of the season. And 99.9% sure that the salaries that they are starting with this season are with the increases that we usually do July 1st. So that's also causing some of this.
Mhm.
Karen, can I ask a question? I don't
Go
have
ahead,
a hand.
Gary. Yep.
So, hi, Sean.
How you
Are we still having issues with competing with lifeguard salaries or hourly rates with like Horseneck? Are we still having that problem and recruiting lifeguards?
I would think that, no, well, this year, no. The answer to that short answer is no. We are competing with the state for lifeguards because they do pay more than we do. And we just can't keep up with them. We don't have the resources to, chase that. And right now, I mean, early on in our enterprise fund, we always had a little bit of money left over to play with. We're running at a point now where we're breaking even with cost and salaries as to what we're bringing in due to a decrease in the number of passes that we are selling.
So, okay. Yeah, and this question is for Nicole. Do we have to get permission from the Department of Revenue to move money from the general fund to an enterprise fund?
No,
We don't.
no, we don't.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That's it. I make a motion to approve it.
1 second.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Hugh,
No, go ahead. You can do that, but we can go into deliberation because there's someone else with a question. So go
well, we
ahead.
have Hugh has a question.
Yeah, we'll go into, if someone wants to second the motion, we can certainly go into deliberation with more questions. So we won't go right to a vote.
I'll second the motion and then you can
All
ask a
right,
question.
great. Thank you. We're in discussions now. So go ahead, Hugh.
You're on mute, you. You're muted, you. There you go.
And Sean, I understand that Sean and his colleagues are sort of flailing around, falling short of this, looking in the couch to see if they had some extra dollars and so forth. And by the time they came to the conclusion that these other things weren't going to work, it wasn't all that long ago. Yeah, had it come to their attention earlier, it should have gone on the warrant to come out of the stable, out of the enterprise fund, etc. But hindsight is great. And rather than stiff the beach for 2 or 3 weeks in June, I think it's a reasonable thing to let it go ahead. If technically you might find flaws in the procedure, I think the end result is reasonable.
Thank you, Hugh. Yeah, I just want to add to the discussion. So, I don't want to stand in the way of not having the beach open fully or having lifeguards there, but I think this just definitely did come a little late. And Sean, I think for whatever reason, we never got you scheduled to come in for our budget season. And so maybe this would have come up if you would have come in front of us in the February timeframe. So let's just put a note on our calendar to make sure that you get yourself scheduled to come in and talk about your budget. So we're all cognizant of what's happening, because we might have heard from your challenges if you came in to see us back then.
I don't disagree with that at all, and I apologize for this inconvenience. It wasn't just a certain item. There were a couple items that all of a sudden came in, like the lifeguard chair, and the increase for the Audubon to monitor the beaches was kind of a sticker shock. So we ran through a lot of our expense items that we did transfer at town, some of the things we did transfer at town meeting. But I mean, I'm at the mercy of the town on this particular point, and the committee kind of understood that, and we did find out kind of late to get it on the warrant article. So I don't know, next year, with the help of the town administrator, we made sure we budgeted plenty of money
Right.
because we just wanted to make sure, if something comes up again, we're ready. I don't like asking for any more money than we have to. And, the enterprise fund does have a small bank account left. But like I said, right now we're running 400 passes lower than we were last year at this time. We're hoping that's the weather thing, but we have noticed that there has been a precipitous drop off in the number of passes.
Great. All right. Thank you. Zach, go ahead. You've got your hand up.
Yeah, I would just say I'm in total support of this. And honestly, as a citizen of the town, one of the things I'm proud of is our beaches. It's quite awesome when the increase in the beach pass went from the 35 to the 50. I was like, I would pay more because our beaches are beautiful and I enjoy it. But just like not seeing you on the budget meeting, and just out of personal curiosity, I am wondering, I know you mentioned that the pass count was down, but have you seen a positive impact on the increase of our beach passes? Because I know the number was getting pretty high there in terms of how many passes were sold. How has that impacted your funds?
Okay, so For, right now, we charge $50 for non-senior citizens. Senior citizens get, I believe, 25, charge 25. We are an aging town, so we're having a twofold attack here on our beach revenue. I hate to say it, I can pay now my senior citizen pass. But we are seeing, a dent where people getting older, so they're paying half as much as a regular pass. And we are seeing that some people, when we increased, aren't getting the multiple passes you usually get in a household. Where you may get 4, you may get 3. And that, a teenager, for instance, may say, well, I don't know if $50 is worth it. For the number of times they go down there. I'm not sure what the revenue is about the same, because although we increased the beach passes by about 25%, we're down about 25% in the number of passes. And this year, I checked with Carla at the town clerk's office just the other day. We're down about 400, which is unusual, because all this money now until July 1st goes to the fund. That's when we sell usually the most passes. We were up to 4,600 passes, give or take, during the pandemic. Prior to the pandemic, we sold 2,700 passes. To give you an idea how much we jumped up during the pandemic.
Right.
Now we're dropping down to the 4,000 range. And we're at 3,000 right now for this particular year, which is below. And I want to attribute it to the lousy weather we had in the whole month.
I was hoping the cooler weather was kind of a reason for that, and it'll ramp up here pretty soon because it has been chilly.
So we're hoping that's the case anyway.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Al, go ahead.
Sean, and pardon me, this goes for, I believe, any department within the town. So we're talking to you right now, but I think it's applicable. I always looked in my business at a 3-year rolling average. I didn't look at and when your point about, COVID, pre-COVID, after COVID, whatever the hell it might be, I really do believe that we need to smooth out the curve a little bit and not just look at what might be the number of tickets or whatever, not tickets, but permits in this particular case, and really just look at a broader spectrum a little bit to see what is really going on rather than the spikes and the valleys and whatnot. So this is a comment. This is not an indictment. It's not a, you got to do this, that, and the other, but it's just a thought. Just a thought.
Yeah, I think a lot of the things I've noticed, and I'm probably the police, Lieutenant Rebels here, we've noticed that people, when the passes were really cheap, when they were $25, people bought them and they may go once or twice a year. But they bought the pass anyway. Now we're seeing a trend where or they don't care and they go down and take a chance getting ticketed in the evening, go for a quick swim or go fishing or whatever the case may be, because we get a lot more tickets. And I've seen people ask the police while I was standing there, how much is the ticket? And they go, it's $50. So, well, that's cheaper than you can't take a family of 4 to the movies for
right.
And it's $35 to go to Horseneck. So are you going to go to Horseneck or spend an extra $15 to go to Cherrywood Beach? And I think we know what the answer is right there. And that may be the 1 or 2 times families in town or whatever it may be. And so we don't know if the right. I mean, this year we'll get a better idea, and it's hard to judge because if we had a really hot summer, I would guarantee that number would creep over July and August. It depends on.
You dream as of today. You're dreaming about that one, but
yeah. May was so horrible. We think that's the problem. On Memorial Day, the town clerk's office just gets deluged with requests for passes. And this year, Carla was waiting on that Friday before Memorial Day. They've been. The town clerk's office, I got to give them all the credit in the world. It takes a couple of days to get the pass to you, but what they do is they email you a temporary pass, immediately. So you can go to the beach, put that in your windshield, and you won't get a ticket. That Friday before Memorial Day, that didn't happen. Yeah. And that's unusual. That's when most people are running, I forgot to get my pass, and it didn't happen. I don't know. We're looking at the trend to see if, the pandemic was the top of the curve and it starts sliding the other way. And we're also looking at number of senior passes versus number of I don't know, regular passes, I guess I'll call them, because that could be part of it also.
So, and I think I'm right, but please correct me if I'm not. You're talking about the pass for Cherry and Webb, $50 for the season, I believe.
Correct.
And I think the figure you quoted a horse neck is the daily charge, right?
Correct.
So you might make an emphasis of that if people are thinking about 35 versus 50. It isn't, unless it's just a one-day deal.
Now you can get I think it's 45 for the DCR pass, and in the senior citizen, I think it's free.
Pretty
Uh,
close, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
free or $10, something like
Yeah,
that.
something
$10,
like
I
that.
think
Very
you're
little
right,
money
Cindy.
to go to any DCR park. So, but I think more people, I mean, if you've been to Horse Neck and you go to Cherry and Webb, there's a night and day difference in the quality of the beach. And people like the family atmosphere at Cherry and Webb, obviously, and they like, having the town beach. I think it is the number one recreational and asset jewel of the town of Westport. I mean, everybody wants to go to that beach. And I think, we're preserving it as best we can. I think we've done a lot in the last few years. We actually acquired a piece of beach with some of our enterprise fund money last year. We picked up a 50-foot section. May not seem like much, but it was 10 grand. And we're hoping to keep continuing that with our enterprise fund. The problem is, I think we're running now, and it won't be long before we have a deficit. And we have to figure out how to figure some revenue streams.
Well, actually, an interesting revenue stream would be parking tickets from the beach could be allocated towards the beach fund. I mean, that would be, and they should jack up the price of the parking ticket, particularly on the weekends. I mean, it should be $100. So they should, jack that up, and maybe that's something that's worth discussing with the select board going forward, that those revenues could be applied towards the beach account. But anyway, I would put that on your pad.
We've been talking about it. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so let's get back to our transfer. So we have a motion and a second. And any other conversations on this transfer? If not, we can go to a roll
No.
call. All right, Hugh,
Hugh Morton, aye.
Al,
Lee's aye.
Gary,
Yes.
Duncan,
Duncan Law, aye.
Cindy,
Cindy Brown, aye.
Zach,
Zach LaBrew, aye.
Christopher.
Christopher Thrasher, aye.
Thank you. And Karen Rouse, aye. All right.
Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
Sean. Well,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you for coming in, your patience, and hopefully we'll talk to you about a budget sometime next year.
Definitely.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. See you later. All right. So those were the 5 transfers that were presented to us earlier. And we have one more that Nicole sent to us earlier today. I have not actually looked at it. I forwarded it to everyone, but I didn't look at it yet. So this was a transfer that just came to us today, and I'm trying to open it up. It is from the veterans benefits of $2,232.48. It's looking to go from the veterans benefits to veterans personnel services. And it says to fund the short in the salary line for contractual obligation. I'm not sure, Nicole, can you give us a little insight on this? So let me just say to the committee, we have the option to either discuss and vote on it tonight. We have the ability to do it before the select board, so we don't have to be in a particular order. But it's our choice if we wanted to also put this off, if it's not urgent, and reconvene in another meeting. So we have some options. So Nicole, can you give us a little insight on this?
So I was going over the budgets like I usually do on a bi-weekly basis. And this one, for some reason, because her salary line item is basically her whole salary, I really didn't look at it, but in her contract, she is allowed to take either a comp day or a paid day. So this would be an extra paid day over and above her salary for working Memorial Day, Veterans Day, and 4th of July. So because of all the extra hours she worked for Memorial Day, she chose to get paid out the extra day. So when I looked at it, and I said, hey, she's not budgeted for that because her salary is her budget. I noticed that her contract, which was signed last June of 2024, was $2,000 higher than what was budgeted. And I hadn't noticed that. And so that's where the 2,000 comes in. And then the $282 and change is for that one day, 8 hours. I apologize. Carol apologized today. We all went, what? It's not in the budget. We're like, wait a minute, that's not right. I mean, we could have swung the $200 somewhere, but the 2,000, and this shortfall will go into place with the next payroll. There's not enough in there to cover her payroll for June 27th. So the thing is if it's not approved tonight either way, she's going to have a short budget. The selectmen are not meeting again until July 7th. If you so choose, you can approve it on July 8th, which would be the next night after they approve it. But that would mean you would have to meet out of context because that's the first Tuesday of the month. Or is it the second Tuesday of the month? No, it is the second Tuesday of the month. Okay, so it is the second Tuesday, but yeah, but the problem is we can't not pay her, so we would have to run her budget negative until that happens.
Yeah. So, just, I'm very sensitive to salary, and I just want to say, if we push it to a July 8th and then we don't have a quorum, we're in a lot of trouble, right?
Correct.
And so we're all here right now. So for someone's salary purposes, I wouldn't want to put something on the line, and we're all away on vacation or something happens, and then we don't have a quorum to approve it. So I wouldn't suggest, that wouldn't be my first suggestion of what to do. So I'm sensitive to that. So it sounds, Nicole, it sounds reasonable to me. I don't have any issue with it now that you explain it. I personally don't have an issue approving it before the select board, since you're saying it's contract, and that is what it is.
Yeah, and whether you guys approve it first or the select board approves it, historically they have approved it first and then you guys, but there's nothing in writing that says who has to approve it first. It just has to be approved by both of you.
Oh, I see lots of hands up.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going, nobody's speaking. Al, go ahead.
Who's first?
Al, go ahead. And then you next.
I'm just trying to do the math here in my head. We've got $2,500 plus or minus, whatever it might be. How many days are we looking at to backfill the payroll?
It's just the one day.
One day.
Well, it's the $2,000, which is shorted in her salary. So her salary increased in June of 2024 as of July 1st. What was budgeted for fiscal 25 was $2,000 less than what was in her contract as of July 1st.
Okay, so there's the $2,000.
So there's the $2,000, and then the other 200 and change is for one day.
Bingo. Okay. Nope. No more. Just yeah. That answers my question. It was where the $2,000 or plus or minus came from, and you answered it. Thank you.
Thanks, Al. Go ahead, Hugh.
I'm just going to say, clearly an oversight. These things happen, not a major problem. Ladies entitled to the money. Perfectly clear, and thank you, Nicole, for the explanation. I see no reason to postpone it. Nothing's going to change in the meantime. We understand.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
and all the comments of whether the quorum or this or that, sure, but there's no reason to go that far. So I know it's inappropriate for a motion while we're discussing it, but I don't see any reason not to approve it right now.
Yep.
Agree. Go ahead, Zach, and then Cindy.
Motion to approve.
There you go.
He's calling the question. I have just one quick question for you, Nicole. Have you verified that the salary for FY26 was budgeted correctly?
I have not, but that is my first agenda tomorrow morning, because I was out yesterday and I had a short day today, and I have been working on the chart of accounts for our new accounting system. So, but yeah, that is definitely on my list tomorrow morning to start
Because
looking at FY26.
Just in case when she submitted her budget, she just added the 3% or whatever it was to whatever she saw in her budget last year. So if you could just double check and make sure that we'll be
Yeah,
alerted.
I'm
for
gonna go
next year.
through and look at everybody's contract
Yeah,
and then look at they just approved the 3% non-union
right.
last night. So I have like a sheet that I make up with all the pay rates and
Right.
like
Okay.
the bi-weekly pay and all that stuff. So that's on like the agenda. As soon as I get the last file over tonight to Zobrio for the new program.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Just, yeah, heads up on that. That's all.
Yep.
I think did I second Zach's motion? If I didn't, I
Not
will.
yet.
No.
I'll second Zach's motion.
Okay, awesome. Any further discussion? Zach, did you have anything else to add, or were you?
No, that was it. I guess I should have phrased it correctly. And
That's
called it
okay.
that.
No, that's terrific.
We were
Let's
all on
do the
same
point.
page here.
All right, so with no further discussion, I'll go to a roll call. Hugh,
You weren't aye.
Al,
Ellie's eye.
Gary,
Yes.
Duncan,
Duncan Law, aye.
Cindy,
Cindy Brown, aye.
Zach,
Zach LeBrew, aye.
Christopher.
Christopher Thrasher, aye.
Thank you. And Karen Rouse, aye. All right, so that is the transfers. Okay. The other items on the agenda was to approve minutes, except I realized today that they were never circulated to anyone. So we're going to have to pass on approving the minutes of April 2nd and May 8th because those were not distributed. I think they were distributed April 8th, the 22nd. So anyway, we're passing on those.
Karen, did you take minutes of the May 2nd?
They're in my brain. So
Okay.
yeah.
We didn't really discuss much.
We'll
Okay.
jot them down. Yeah. So
Okay.
we had one motion and yeah,
Okay.
so I've got them in my brain. I'll jot them down.
All right.
And so we just carrying the regular agenda. If there's anything of substance that, item 3, which is any committee or liaison updates, if anyone has anything to add or discuss.
I will only bring, oh, sorry. Go ahead, Zach.
That's
Oh, I
okay.
think-
I don't mind waiting. I'm just,
Oh, okay. I guess, in watching the select board meeting this week, it reminded me, when they had the auditor to, come in, had I updated the committee on the audit committee, the findings of the audit? I believe that I did. I
You
was
did,
just
but
wondering-
yeah, when
A
the,
while ago, right?
way back in
Okay, all
February.
right.
Yeah.
So
You did.
that's, I just, all of a sudden I realized that maybe I did or maybe I didn't. So that's fine.
Yes, you did. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
I
you.
have no other committee liaisons to report.
Nor do I right now. I'm sure there'll be more, there's as we know, the kerfluffle with the new maritime committee, shellfish and harbor master things. So I'll square up with them sooner than later. But right now, let them do their thing for the summertime.
Yep. Perfect. Zach, did you have your hand up for
Yep.
this round? Okay, go ahead, Zach.
I'm kind of excited because I don't have a huge load when it comes to the committee meetings, but we've got some great news from the Energy Committee meeting. Is anyone familiar with the Green Communities Grant that we had to electrify the town hall? So
Right.
we're in motion here. Definitely a huge thanks to Ms. Stanley and Jim Hartnett for all the work they did behind the scenes to get this moved forward, right? The long story short of this project is to get AC into the town hall by means of mini splits. Of course, when we first did a couple analysis of the building, there was asbestos found in the tiles. So we had to go through an asbestos abatement. And I mean, I've got a huge list of notes here. If you can see that, I'm trying to make it short, but finally our hard workers at the town hall should be cool in the summer. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to quite kick in for this summer. There's like a 6 to 8 lead time. Our meeting was on 6/4. So there is a lead time for the equipment. We've been working with UQ, which basically, you know, helps set up the project and get the equipment installed. We're hoping to kind of complete our install by October, but we won't be able to fully commission the equipment until we get into a heat cycle that will have to really use it. So long story short, next year by the summertime, we'll be a lot cooler in the town hall, and
Nice.
for the hard work and tight budget that everyone, this is
Nice.
small but huge.
Huge. And that's been years in the making, right?
Yeah, it was multiple years ago in the asbestos that was discovered in the floor tile, because you know, you think of mini splits, where's the asbestos issue? But it was lines that are going to come through the floor.
Right.
So that was discovered, and again, there was a huge you know, effort on Kathleen Stanley and Jim Hartnett's part to go through that whole piece. And I mean, I don't want to speak to it too much because I'm paraphrasing the intricacies of this, but the ultimate goal is with some net metering credits, we hope that the additional electricity costs of the equipment, that the mini splits, the HVAC equipment, will actually be canceled out. And there was also a little bit more on updating how we're being able to track our net metering credits. We can now use our energy net metering credits that I think we were banking and not store them towards the electricity bill. So hopefully our electricity bill will be decreased or zero, and we'll have the electrification project started and completed by October, finally commissioned and all set next year when they can fully test the system.
Zach, Kathleen Stanley has been such a huge asset to the town. I mean, she really knows her way around finding money and finding grants for all sorts of projects here, regarding, green grants throughout the town. I mean, she did it at the high school. She's done it for other buildings in town. I mean, she's really been great asset.
And it's not easy, right? There's so
Right,
much red
yeah.
tape with this, and it's such a lengthy process.
And it's competitive. I mean, it's very competitive.
Yeah, so it was a great meeting because we don't meet that often, and we don't usually have great news. It's normally updates on this. This was like the culmination of work for many years, and just good news.
That's awesome.
Good,
That's
good,
great.
good
Thank you.
news,
That's
good
a
news.
great update, Zach. Thank you. It's good to have good news.
Yeah.
Great. Does anyone else? have any,
Nicole has her hand
Oh, go
up.
ahead, Nicole.
I just have a question for Zach, since he's on the Energy Committee.
Yes.
Has the Energy Committee, at any time that you've been there, discussed anything about the electric charging stations at the town hall and the annex?
Yeah, we have, and we've looked into, there's type 2 and type 3 chargers. Basically, they require more consumption for the type 3, but it's faster. I think we are seeing use on the chargers that we have. Currently, I think we're on a little bit of a standstill until we get more information on the chargers.
So I had sent a memo probably a year and a half ago, because we had received at one point a bill from Eversource for the charger at the annex that we did not know, and they had not sent us in like 3 years, and it was close to $8,000. So Kathy Stanley and I had looked into the fact that we don't charge anybody for use of these chargers, and they get a lot of use all summer long. So I had sent a memo regarding, you know, what we can charge and what we can't charge, and a decision to be made. And I know the selectmen had passed it on to the energy committee. So I didn't know if that was something that was possibly on their agenda for their next meeting. If you think I should send another memo.
No, so I think this was a meeting or two ago that we discussed this. There was a feedback loop between when we established the chargers and a period of time that we didn't have to worry about that cost and actually getting the bill from Eversource. It kind of had built up during this feedback loop. And correct, if anyone knows this further, correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding was that we can charge our cost for providing this electricity, but no more. Otherwise, we'd be acting as a power company. So we did establish through a service that these chargers will charge people to use it, but only at the cost to us. Does that sound right, Nicole?
I have not gotten any feedback from the energy committee at all regarding these, but we can charge. So Kathy Stanley and I had discussed charging like whatever the per kilowatt hour that we are charged ourselves by Eversource, but we can also charge additional fees for hooking up or for staying on the charger too long, because we've had cars parked at the town hall on the charger like all day, and it only takes like a half an hour to 45 minutes to fully charge a car, no matter what size it is. So we can charge like an over the limit charges. There's different things that we can do. But you're right. I mean, we could just charge, what we get charged from Eversource to recoup some of that cost. Because I have yet to add that new electric bill to our net metering credits, because the 6 months will be up like in July, where I need to redo the calculation of the percentages for net metering credits.
Okay.
And it's still costing us about $700 or $800 a month.
All right, so
Well-
it sounds like maybe you guys want to take this up as an energy committee.
100%. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. And
Right.
your name actually came up, Nicole, and you also come up on the minutes from our last meeting, which was yeah, so 5/22. I'm just looking at the minutes here, but maybe we should involve you in this. And I'm seeing,
Yeah, so keep us in the loop. So let's we're getting antsy here. It's almost 8:00.
Sorry, I can send you a copy of the memo, Zach, and then
Yeah,
we
that's
can
okay.
Yeah,
by
that sounds
email.
good.
It's a good point. It's a great point. So, yeah, so keep us in the loop, Zach, and hopefully you guys can start charging, so this way you can recoup the costs. So,
Okay.
Anything else on a committee liaison? Okay. If not, am I missing any hands? I don't think so. Nope. Okay. Next item was correspondence. I have no correspondence. The next item on the agenda was the next meeting and topics for next meeting. So we're kind of in the quiet season, so we can certainly meet on July 8th, which is the second Tuesday of the month. The normal thing that we do at the first meeting is to reorganize, to chair and vice chair and that, and kind of update our committees and liaisons. We can do that at the July meeting, or we can do it at an August meeting. So
Could we wait to see if the moderator is going to appoint a new member?
that would be a good idea.
So
Yep, that
we
is
should
a good idea.
That's-
we
Great
should keep nudging him a little bit
Yes.
to get that done.
That's a great idea, because it will be certainly easier to reallocate the committees with a full list. So that's a
Right.
great idea. So the date would be July 8th if that's the meeting. If not, we'll push it off, and that's only not even 2 weeks away. At this
Yeah,
point anyway, so.
August at
Let's do
the
August.
earliest.
So
Yeah.
we'll skip July, go to the beach, get a beach
Yeah.
pass.
Go
help out
buy your
Sean.
beach passes, right?
Go get a
Water's
beach
not
pass, go to the
cold.
beach.
Oh, yeah. I have a beach body.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll send you guys an email, but it'd be the second Tuesday in August would be the plan then. Okay, so we will skip July. That is it for the agenda. No topics that came up in 48 hours other than the one we already discussed. So, motion, anybody?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Any second, super. I will do a roll call very nicely. Hugh,
It's on mute.
Hugh Morton, aye.
Al,
Al Lee's eye. Thank you.
Gary,
Yes.
Duncan,
The lights are on, but nobody's home.
yeah, he's still with us. We'll see if he can catch up. Cindy,
Cindy Brown, aye.
we can adjourn without him. We've got a
Yeah.
quorum. Zach,
Zach LaBrew, aye.
Christopher,
Christopher Thrasher, aye.
thank you. And Karen Ross, aye. Happy birthday, Al.
Thank you.
Oh, happy birthday, Al.
Thank you.
All right, good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.